We are doing Europa League predictions, and you're probably thinking, Theo, you mugs, you're not done Europa League all year. Well, it's getting very interesting, and I've got this old mug next to me. We are going to predict it for you. First leg, it's getting interesting.
It's getting very interesting, Theo, and I've noticed that the bookies have made Tottenham Hotspur favourites to win this tournament. You know what? If Spurs win this tournament, I'm going to put on Thogden's pink dress. I'm going to run around Hampstead.
Why Hampstead?
Well, I probably won't.
Go to the stadium, the North London Stadium. Go to Tottenham.
You know,
you won't do that in Tottenham, will you? You probably get...
I'm not going to do it in Tottenham. We're going to get into the detail, Theo, but this is absolutely fascinating.
It's fascinating, and I want to confirm, because a lot of people watch this, they're not always subscribed, 70% of you. Please subscribe right now. And also, we are not forcing an English media mentality. We are not going to be biased towards Man United and Tottenham. We're going to be completely honest. We've looked at the stats. We've done our Opta analysisms. What's the first game?
Whatever that means. The first game is Athletic Club of Bilbao against our very own Manchester United. Now, of course, in the last round, Theo, Bilbao came through against Glasgow Rangers, and Man United came through 7-6 against Lyon of France. What is going to happen here? Because you look at Bilbao, Theo, fourth in the Spanish league, in La Liga. They've got the best defensive record in that league. They're a pretty good team.
I've watched Bilbao on a few occasions this season. First one was in Saudi Arabia for the Supercopa. They had a semi-final against Barcelona in the semis. They got wiped off the floor by Barca. I'm not going to lie. There was no real chance of them getting a result there. And then Real Madrid beat Mallorca in the final. Barca won. So not much to talk about. I was sat there though in the press conference with Ernesto Valverde, the manager, and he is a very inspiring gaffer. But one lady decided to ask him, can he win the treble? A very silly question. And I think she was talking about Supercopa, La Liga and Europa League, and they're only left in the title race for one. But I actually think, personally, Bilbao have a great chance at this Europa League. And it's because of Ernesto Valverde's system and the quality of players that he has. Now, if you know Bilbao and their history, Dad, do you want to explain the one ruling of their club? It makes them different to the rest.
You tell it, Theo, because you told me.
Well, they can only field players from the Basque state of Spain. Basque country, some people call it. They have a Lezama Academy and the regional pyramid forming bonds that stand in stark contrast to United's globally scouted, individually driven setup. That is a big difference in this game. Whilst United are just focusing on big wages, individual talents, and they won't really get along in the dressing room. We've seen lots of moments in a dressing room this season with United where things are just very toxic. Players like Ohan Sanset and Mikel Urigaza, 21-year-old holding midfielder, creative, brilliant long balls and tackle. You don't know about him. When Liverpool make a bid for 50 mil in the summer, you will. That's the thing. That's the way I see it.
You raised some very good points there, because when you think Spain, you think Barcelona, you think Real Madrid, you might just think Atletico Madrid. But we should talk more about Bilbao. That man Sanset, Theo, you're right. 15 goals this season. He's 24 years old, an attacking midfielder. There could be a lot of interest.
Now, everyone, when they talk about Bilbao, you probably click on a few other predictions on YouTube, and they'll probably talk to you about Inaki Williams and Nico Williams. I don't. I talk to you about Mikel Urigaza, the 21-year-old creative midfielder. Oyun Sensat. I don't know how to say his name. I don't know how to say these guys' names, and they're worth 50, 60 mil. That's the thing about Valverde's 11.
In goal, you've got Unai Simon there. He's played for Spain 46 times. We know how good a goalkeeper he is. Then you've got Danny Vivian, centre-back, 25 years old, a very highly rated Spanish international. Now, you've mentioned Inaki Williams and Nico Williams. Inaki Williams this season, 6 goals, 8 assists in La Liga. Nico Williams, 5 goals, 5 assists. And they both also scored 5 goals in the Europa League. So this is a very well-balanced, very passionate team playing in front of their own fans. And their home record recently has been sensational.
And bearing in mind, the final will also be in Bilbao. So it will be a home match back-to-back if they can get through these 2 legs. So the big task, do they get through United? The only downfall for Bilbao will be squad fatigue with a busy Spanish fixture list. La Liga didn't change any of the fixtures for Real Madrid when they had the up-and-coming Arsenal second leg, and the same will be for Bilbao. They will keep the same structure. They'll make it difficult for them, and Man United's players might be a little bit more ready for a busier fixture list, given that they've done this before a bit more. Look, I don't know which way it's going to go, but we've got to break down Man United's, and they focus on the Europa League. They're benching players in the Prem because Amram really feels like he can do it, doesn't he, Dad?
He does, Theo. Obviously, their record in the Premier League this season is pretty terrible. They are 14th. Their recent record in all competitions away from home, Theo, 1 win in 7 games, and that was at Leicester City.
Yes.
But there is some positivity. You could argue the market value, believe it or not, of Manchester United is 2x that of Bilbao, unbelievably. They have got Bruno Fernandes. We know what an incredible player he is.
He will be returning to Iberia with belief. We're probably not going to see any Lisandro Martinez, who's still injured, so Mazraoui will shift into the back three. No Xerxes as well, which is a blow. And Amad Diallo's a doubt, so they do have a few players missing. But at the same time, Nico Williams, he's coming back from an injury. Will he be fit for this match? There's a lot up in the air, and that can change things. So for Manchester United, what will be their threat up front? Because they the last couple games, especially against Lyon, incredible 5-4 comeback.
Well, part of the answer to that question, Theo, is Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah.
11 games in the Europa League, 5 goals and 4 assists. So he's averaging a contribution per game almost in this competition. And then, surprisingly, Theo, Rasmus Højlund, who I don't think is good enough to be a Manchester United Premier League striker. I'm sorry, I think he should be at a lower European level. But his record in this competition is actually quite good. 12 games, 5 goals and 3 assists. He likes this tournament mainly because he's coming up against lesser teams.
In the last few matches, though, they've even resulted in playing Harry Maguire as a number 9. So Amorim wouldn't be doing that if Højlund was such a goal-scoring threat in the last few games.
Yeah.
So as the matches have crept up with quality, maybe it's time to stop thinking about Maguire as a 9 over Højlund. Well, I mean that's what he's doing at the moment.
I mean, obviously we joke about that. But I look at that Man United squad, and I've said this so many times, it is really, really poor. And they're having a bit of a clear out. But I look at United, Theo, and I look at Bilbao, and I think United have got almost no chance of getting a win here.
Wow.
They might
almost
sneak.
No chance.
On their day, they might sneak a 1-1. If Bruno Fernandes turns up and does an 8 or a 9 out of 10 performance, which he's capable of, he's a match winner, they might just sneak it. But I'm going to go straight to my prediction.
Let's hold predictions back one more thing, because I want to mention a few United players. Patrick Dorgu's come in at left wing back, right wing back, it can rotate, he's versatile, and he's a great player. I really like watching him play. And then I checked his FPL team, and he actually had the Thogden League in his FPL.
No.
Yeah, I got sent it. He's in our league.
Wow.
So big up Patrick, and it's great to see him doing so well. The only downfall this United side right now, I would say, is the goalkeeper confidence. They're probably going to play Onana, and he could probably be at cost, can't he? But what would you go? Bendia, Onana?
Yeah, the only downside of this Man United team is goalkeeping, defending, midfield, Bruno, and up front. It's everything.
It's a mess, yeah.
It is a mess, I'm sorry. And I think the owners know that, and there has been a clear out of talent in inverted commas.
Defensively, it's awful. You're right. 4 goals against Lyon. You can't ignore that. How many goals against Bilbao? You got to remember, I went to Sevilla away in the Europa League knockout stage, and En-Nesyri and the other lads just completely destroyed them at home. So much so that United didn't get beyond that round. And guess who ended up winning the tournament? The Spanish team, Sevilla. This could be the same answer with Bilbao. I've seen this story before. History matters. Do not ignore that. And I think the odds might actually be quite good, but I think it's an absolute banker that Bilbao win this game. What's your score prediction?
I'm going to go Athletic Bilbao 2, Manchester United 0. They won't score.
I've said his name, and I'll say it again, and this is like when I called out Enzo Fernandez for being the young player of the year in the World Cup. Mikel Jorregazar. Don't know how to say your name, son. 21 years old. He's going to end up at a big club. I can absolutely bank on it. I'm the first one mentioning him. He is so creative in that midfield. He's going to run the show. And I do think that boy, Oyhan Sanset and Inaki Williams are both going to score. Inaki with the second. Bilbao 2, Man United 1. We'll give Bruno 1. So the first match we predict, we both go for Bilbao. Different predictions. But let us know in the comments if you think different. If you're a United hopeful fan, believe there's always a second leg too. And we've seen crazy things at Old Trafford, haven't we?
We certainly have. And the second game, Theo, is Tottenham Hotspur against Bodo Glimt. So hello at this point to any subscribers from Norway, because you'll be watching this. Now, Spurs got through with a really good victory over Eintracht Frankfurt. That was a banana skin, wasn't it? Bodo Glimt, meanwhile, went to beat Lazio.
I know, what a result on penalties.
What a result, honestly, just let that sink in. Bodo Glimt won 2-0 at home.
Hykin,
Lazio.
Nikita Hykin, a sensational performance during the penalty shootout and the game to stop Lazio getting that important final goal. They're making history. They're the first Norwegian club to actually be a European semi-final. And we're not talking Conference League, we're one step beyond that. So I remember the start of the season when I watched Bodo Glimt lose to Red Star, which stopped a Norwegian club playing the Champions League for the first time. And that was such a big moment. You could see how gutted they were on the pitch.
Yeah.
And Red Star ended up getting knocked out, but that moved them into Europa League, and now they've actually got a chance of winning the trophy. So this is historic, Dad.
It's historic, and putting numbers to this, Theo, the market value of Bodo Glimt is about 43 million euros.
Yeah.
So that's probably very similar to Birmingham City of the third tier. The market value of Tottenham Hotspur is over 800 million euros. That is €1 to €20. So this is,
and let's just say this,
versus,
they've got a lot more than a 1 in 20 chance of winning this game.
They have, Theo. Over 3 hours. I tell you what, you go to the Arctic Circle for the second leg. Oh, good luck to Tottenham Hotspur. But let's start with the home team. Let's start with Tottenham Hotspur, because we know how terrible they've been in the league. They've lost 18 games in the Premier League this season. They've lost 4 of the last 5 games in the Premier League. And what amazes me, Theo, I've refreshed myself by looking at the squad list, and it's full of really, really good players. Unlike Man United, who we've just talked about, who need a clear out, they need to buy players. Tottenham Hotspur, there must be some serious incompetence for them to do so badly with that squad list.
Let's be nice. They beat Frankfurt, they held them out, didn't concede
in
away.
Europe, yes.
1-0. They did excellent. That's a very difficult ground to go to. And by the way, some of the Frankfurt forwards decided to look worse than Bolton forwards this season. That says something. I would have scored that, and I just played Thursday night football. So Frankfurt, I'm 24 years old. I've got a great right foot. I've probably got like a 2-star weak foot. Not that quick, but if you put quick players around me, I'm pretty good. So if you need a new forward, I'm ready. I'll play as a 10, centre mid, whatever. Same goes for Bodo Glimt, because you might need me after this 90 minutes, because Tottenham play high-octane attacking football with a focus on fluid movement and vertical progression. James Maddison will sit in that 10 role and probably have a lot of fun. Because I remember when he was at Leicester and they played attacking football and they were usually more possessive over teams in the Championship, he would be the heartbeat of that. And I feel like James Maddison has that role for Tottenham in Europa League games when there's a massive difference between quality. He will be at the top of the press, but also at the pinpoint of that attack. And I think he could be the danger man. And then you've got the wing backs that overlap. I see Pedro Porro doing a lot of damage in this sort of matchup. And they build patiently through the thirds and suffocate opponents with pressing. The thing is with Tottenham, they need to win this 2 goals plus.
Yeah.
And if they do, it might be too much of the Arctic Circle for Bodo Glimt to come back to.
It might be. I'm glad you've mentioned James Maddison. He likes this tournament. 10 games, 2 goals and 4 assists. He's a player I've always rated very highly. And some of the stick he's got this season, I'm sorry, you've crossed the line with some of the stick from some really top pundits. You're going a bit far, Theo.
Yeah.
It becomes bullying when you make it a sort of a weekly thing. Anyway, we'll gloss over that.
Wow, I didn't know you felt so passionately about that.
I do, actually. I do. These are just people, you know, and when they get stick every single week.
Do you know what's sad about Sky Sports is Roy Keane, who probably doesn't even care that much about football, but I mean, his character, it does so well for him. He gets an earpiece and someone's probably telling him, okay, talk about Maddison again because you've created this storyline about him and you've got to do it every week now.
Yeah.
And he's there just bullying this guy who's just trying to play football. I don't know if Maddison will ever see this clip, but
you could
keep
argue,
doing you, mate. You're smashing it in the Europa League and you're probably going to win it. So
yeah, he's a great football player. He's 28 years old, but by my standards, that's half my age. So he's a young guy.
And it's got to a point now where Tommy Tuchel's watching. Like, come on, you want to get in this World Cup. We know Maddison has the player to play in that 11 for England.
Talking of great players, Richarlison, I'm sorry, you score 20 goals for Brazil. It means you're a great player. Now, he's only played 4 times in this tournament, got 1 goal. I think if you're starting with Richarlison and Maddison, then you've got goals there.
I'm a little bit worried because Heung-min Son's a doubt because of his foot. Dragoshin's out with an ACL, of course. They don't have any suspensions, so the rest of the squad is ready to go. Do you think Son affects it, whether he plays or not?
Well, I look at some of the other players and what they've done in this tournament this season. Dominic Solanke, 3 goals, 4 assists. Brennan Johnson, 3 goals, 1 assist. Heung-min Son, 3 goals, 1 assist.
They do a bit more, yeah.
There's a lot of players who are really enjoying this tournament. And if you get those players on a good day, then potentially they could score 3 or 4.
And finally, the most important question is for Tottenham, can they handle the pressure? Because it's actually got to a point where Opta Analyst puts them as favourites. 36% chance with 4 teams. You do the math. Well over 25.
The assumption here, Theo, they're favourites for the tournament, not because they're better than Bilbao and Man United. That's arguable.
That's partly.
Certainly not. No, it's because they're playing Bodo Glimt. And the bookmakers are saying they will walk this by 2 or 3 goals.
The fact that they're playing the first leg at home massively favours them. It's similar to Arsenal getting the job done against Real Madrid and shaking them a little bit. But they need to go and win this 3-0 like Arsenal did against Real Madrid. And they're not playing Real Madrid, they're playing Bodo Glimt.
Yes.
Let's not be disrespectful because Ketil Knutsen, you never thought I'd mention his name before, is doing a wonderful job. They've got a 4-3-3 set up, and the reason they got the job over Lazio, the reason they beat Olympiacos at home without conceding, they've got a great record. They beat Twente, some very solid European teams because they play fearless and fast. Yes. A lot better than what I saw at Red Star at the start of the season.
You look at their squad list, and they've clearly got some good players. The sort of players who've got a few international international caps, a few youth international caps, the sort of players that he's going to see at Brentford in a few years' time.
Maybe, that's true.
Let me talk about a few of them. Fredrik Sjøvold, Theo, worth about 6 million euros. He's a Norway youth international. He's played 14 games in the Europa Cup this season. He is a right back. Then you've got a centre forward called Kasper
How? He's got a lot of goals in the Europa League. I'm sorry if we said your name wrong, but he's led the line well.
Do you know what? He's a centre forward, a Danish youth international. He's got 7 goals in the Europa League, and he's got 23 goals in 44 games for Bodo Glimt. He's a guy who knows where the net is. Patrick Berg, Theo. He's the captain. He's a Norwegian international. 2 goals and 3 assists in this tournament.
And he's suspended. He's suspended. Their captain is suspended.
I thought he was back on the first.
No,
that's so sad.
He is suspended, and they've got 2 other key members suspended too, called Hakon Evjen and Andreas Helmerson.
Yeah.
I'm not just reading random passports from Norway. This is genuinely their 11, and they're 3 of their main boys are gone, and they know this. They will be working hard. They probably have a very tight-knit squad, a bit like Bilbao, very Scandinavian. They all play for the badge. They don't play for themselves. And that is why, if they can keep this lower than a 2-0 loss, there is a chance. The second leg being in the Arctic Circle massively favours them. Only like 400 away fans can go. It's not a big ground. They know it well. It's the sort of match you'd love to cover.
Finally, Villads Nielsen, Theo. He is a centre-back, a Danish youth international. Actually got a goal in the Europa Cup. He's played in 9...
the whole of Norway is behind them.
They are.
They have to believe.
The whole of the nation, Theo. And I'm going to actually predict one of the biggest upsets I've ever predicted in 10 years of prediction.
No!
Tottenham Hotspur 2, Bodo Glimt, little Bodo Glimt of Norway 2.
Wow! A draw!
And then you wait and see what happens in the Arctic Circle.
Oh my God, you are egging us on for something special. I'm going to be boring, but I'm going to say what probably will happen. Tottenham are going to win this game 2-0. They're going to win this game 2-0. I don't know if some will score, but Madison and Kulusevski could do the damage. But I'm going to say man of the match will be James. And I believe he will be the role, in that number 10, constantly on the ball, creating close chances, and he will get his goal and probably assist Kulusevski. I'm confident for that. Tottenham will get the job done 2-0. In the Arctic Circle, different story. I think it could be more of a 1-1-ish game. But don't worry, in a week's time, we will predict it on this channel. And Thogden might be seeing a European finalist from Scandinavia, if you know what I mean. That's it, Dan. That's it. That's it. 2 games.
And I cannot wait for these games.
We're not biased at all.
No bias whatsoever.
But is this reality? Is this what's going to happen? We've seen it break down. We look at United and Tottenham's space in the Premier League table. Anything could happen.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say who's winning, but all I can say is Bilbao in Bilbao.
Listen, they're not even the favourites. I mean, it's mad that you can actually back them right now, and they're not even the favourites. It's in their own bloody stadium if they get to the final and they're playing United. But that's it. Maybe we can be proven wrong. I don't think so. Thank you for watching this video. Europa League's got tasty. Let's find out who gets to Bilbao.